the entire day. These storms started earlier today in Chicago, and now they're making their way all the way down through our area. This storm line, this line of storms has had a history of producing 70, even 80, and 90-mile-an-hour winds. So far for us, Dulles Airport, just over the last hour, has reported a wind gust of 71 miles an hour. And look at all of the lightning. Thousands of strikes of lightning within 10 minutes period of time. I counted 1,100 lightning strikes in 5 minutes across the area. Here's where it is right now. Still raining across the district. The district, Fairfax County, most of Montgomery County, you've seen the worst of this storm. Who is going to see it next? It is Prince George's County, it is Charles County, it is Southern Maryland. If you live in Southern Maryland, you are now under the gun for the severe storms to move through and the strongest winds. Here they are right here, right around Bowie. Bowie, you're seeing some of the strongest winds right now, but if you live over towards Crofton or up towards the Odenton area, over towards Glen Burnie, Annapolis, expect this to come through within the next 10 minutes to about 30 minutes. We'll go down south right along 301, Brandywine, Waldorf, La Plata. You're probably starting to see the winds now. The winds will precede the rain, so it may not be raining, and then you'll see the winds gust all of a sudden. And again, we could be seeing winds gusting upwards of 60, 70, even 80 miles an hour as they make their way through the area. We have seen numerous reports of trees down all across the area. Downtown Frederick in Frederick County, Maryland. We've seen a lot of road closures there. We've seen numerous trees down in parts of Loudoun County, Montgomery County, Fairfax County, and really all across the region. So once again, if you live in St. Mary's County, expect your power to go out. I know we just said about 100,000 people are now without power. I would expect that to climb, maybe even double as we move on through the rest of the night tonight. And that's a huge scenario playing out here because not only do we have the strong storms moving through here, but behind that, we still have the heat. These storms are not going to bust the heat across our region. It is going to be back during the day tomorrow. So even though we're going to see these storms move out, some rain move through, slightly cooler air move through, we are going to see temperatures move right back up to around 100 degrees once again during the day tomorrow. So as we mentioned, some of the areas right now being affected, Brandywine, Waldorf, down towards La Plata, around Hughesville, and over towards Sunderland and Prince Frederick in through Calvert County. Expect those storms in about the next 20 minutes. Up 301, once again, here's that line coming through South Laurel, Berwyn, you can see it here in Bowie, making its way right across towards Crofton, in towards Anne Arundel County, moving right along Route 50. But this is just one big line that continues to move across the region, all up towards Howard County and really all along I-95. We were just sitting here in northwest Washington watching this thing come through. I would say our winds here were about 50 to 60 miles an hour. We have a tree out right in front of our offices right now, and I guarantee you there are numerous trees down all across the region. You can see this area in yellow. This is Anne Arundel County, Calvert County, Prince George's County, the district, Fairfax, Prince William, Stafford, Charles, and St. Mary's, as well as King George, and then across towards the eastern shore. All of you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning, but that doesn't even go far enough because once again, we're seeing those winds upwards of hurricane strength, and they're going to continue to move through really over the next couple of minutes, the next couple of hours or so. In about an hour, this will cross the Chesapeake and be out of our hair. It will be out of here. Yes, we'll see some residual rain from this. That rain will be making its way in here from the west. So again, out there towards Loudoun County, you're still probably seeing some rain, but you have seen the worst of it. Out towards Montgomery County, western Montgomery, Gaithersburg, Rockville, out towards Urbana and Frederick County, you have seen the worst of this storm, but it continues to make its way off towards the east. So once again, this area under a severe thunderstorm warning until midnight tonight, and then I expect these storms to be out of our hair. They are extremely fast movers. They will knock down trees. They will take out power. If you're in southern Maryland, you have not seen the storms yet, get your flashlights ready. Get whatever you need to be prepared because I do think you will have some power out in the next couple of days. You can see we do have some more warnings that continue to come in. One of those is a flash flood warning. The flash flood warning for Frederick County, Maryland. That until 1:15. So let me show you a couple other things here. And I'm just going to stop the radar and zoom on in to exactly where this is right here. Here's a live picture. This is outside. This is Tyson's Corner right now. But let's go back and show you our weather camera. Our weather camera right on the front lawn here. And this is a tree that is down. You can see that car with the blinking lights. We lost a tree in our front yard here. This is right between us and Homeland Security, which is across the way here. Not exactly sure which employees' cars those are, but there are a number of cars underneath there. And now let's take a look at some video from Tyson's Corner that was shot just a little while ago. These storms came in with those 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, and again, a ton of lightning. The lightning has been ferocious. I've seen numerous people call. They've been on my Twitter account, on Facebook, saying, I have never seen lightning like this. Once again, I counted within a 10-minute period, and this was only in Frederick County, Maryland, about an hour ago, 1,100 lightning strikes in about 10 minutes. That warning, by the way, if we go back to the radar, now includes the entire portions of the eastern shore. So if you were thinking, hey, maybe we'll head out to Ocean City or, down towards the beaches right now, you want to give that a couple of hours. Not a good idea to do that. This severe thunderstorm warning lasts probably, let me just check the time on this to see exactly when it is. It is through 12:15, and it does include Caroline County and all of the counties out there towards the eastern shore. So watch out there. The Bay Bridge is going to get hit next, including Annapolis. So you do not want to be on the Bay Bridge when we're talking about 50, 60 mile an hour winds. We'll take a couple of zooms and show you where the heaviest rain is. And you may see some small hail here. I don't see as much hail as I was seeing a little bit earlier. We did see some reports around Hyattsville of about 3/4 inch hail. I actually got a photo about that. But around Greenbelt, seeing some of that heavy rain right around Bowie. Crofton, you are seeing that right now, the heavy rain and the wind. Crownsville, Maryland, you are most likely about to see that wind come through your area right now. Also around Greenwood Acres, over towards Arnold and Annapolis. Within the next 15 minutes, we'll move back down 301 and Route 2 in towards Calvert County. And you can see maybe around Deal and Shadyside. You're going to get that in about the next 20 minutes. But back to the west, Andrews Air Force Base, Clinton, Brandywine, all seeing that extremely heavy rain and those winds, which will be gusting, as I've been mentioning, about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Jim and Wendy, we were outside. I brought you guys out because I knew this was coming through here. We took you guys out there, and you pretty much said it all.
Doug, I got to tell you something. I don't know the last time that I've watched a coworker run through the newsroom telling everybody to follow him because there is something that they need to see. And we went out on the loading dock. And as I mentioned to you, what was as impressive as the winds that were just roaring through back there was the sound of it. It was absolutely incredible. But what I want to ask you, when we were on at 6 o'clock, you were talking about this storm, and I think it was just east of Chicago at that time. It's kind of unusual for something to move that quickly, isn't it?
Not really, Jim. In a situation like this, when you've got heat that is this expansive, and this heat has been covering really the eastern half of the nation, we saw these storms form, and there were 2 storms around Chicago, 2 storms. And we knew that those storms would develop in that hot air. They moved through Indiana. We saw a 91 mile an hour wind gust in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They continued to grow. That line continued to grow, and we saw an even bigger line that make its way right on through portions of Ohio, and that line continued to grow. This is called a mesoscale convective system. And again, that's not going to mean a whole lot to a lot of people out there. But what that means is you've got a whole area of storms. I want to take graphics 29 if we can, guys, because I want to show you how this really did develop as it made its way through the area. So let's go back 12 hours and watch up towards Chicago. Watch these storms just start to move on down, create a bow. You can see that front portion, that bow, and then watch it just slam our area. Once again, it should be through here in about the next half hour to 45 minutes. But we do continue to get warnings. We do continue to watch the storm. And again, the highest areas, the biggest areas of impact, Anne Arundel County, Calvert County, St. Mary's County. Everybody else has probably seen the winds, but the winds are moving into your area. Also along the Northern Neck, if you live down there or you have friends down there, this will knock down trees. This will take down power. So please make sure you're ready for that.
Hey, Doug, I have a question for you. You're talking about that the heat is going to return tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tonight, you have a lot of brides, and one of them is one of our own producers is out there who are getting married tomorrow. Is the heat tomorrow, once it climbs back up to 100 degrees, is it going to trigger any more storms for tomorrow?
Well, I'll tell you what, Wendy. I mean, let's go right back to graphics 29 for you. And again, this is one of our graphic systems. Here's graphic 29. You see the storm system that just came through us. Take a look back up towards Chicago. There is another area of storms starting to form there. And yes, I do think we are going to see some more storms during the day tomorrow. And yes, we could see some more severe storms. Will it be a line like this? Possibly. That's the kind of storms you expect with intense heat like this. But once again, it is going to be through, this area will be through tonight. Tomorrow morning, it's going to start off extremely muggy. And then, yes, tomorrow afternoon, we could see more storms come through the area.
All right, Doug, we're going to get back to you in a second. Right now, we have Assistant Chief of Fire and Rescue in Montgomery County, Scott Graham, is on the line. Mr. Graham, can you hear us?
Hey, Jim. Good evening. How are you?
Doing well. I'm curious how you are, and can you give us an idea of what the situation is in the county?
Well, I'm up in the Comus area right now, and we've been without power up in this area for about probably 35 minutes or so. We had a lot of wind come through. There are a lot of calls sporadic throughout the county at this time, down through Rockville, Bethesda, Old Georgetown Road area, and then also up near Argyle. We've got a lot of calls for trees across wires. We have calls for some trees or branches onto homes, and it seems that the storm is marching through pretty quickly. We have had no injuries at this time as it relates to the storm, and the advice we'd like to put out there is please don't go outside and look around to see what's happening, because there may be live wires down. If you don't have power and you're using a generator, we've only lost power for less than, an hour or so. There's probably no real reason to fire up the generator as yet. There's carbon monoxide issues, there's backfeed issues. So stick this one out, let the power companies get in there to start to restore power. But as I said, it was pretty fast moving through the county, and we're running the usual calls that we would see with high winds, heavy rain, wires down, some branches or trees on homes. But fortunately, we're blessed there's been no injuries thus far.
You have any word, Mr. Graham, on whether or not any of the roads have been closed yet because of wires or trees or whatever?
Well, officially, no. But we had a report of a house fire, which turned out to be not that. It was just a tree down in the Smoke Tree Road area, which is like the Falls Road, Potomac area, and some of the response apparatus was calling back in and saying, we can't. There's trees across the road. We've got to go an alternate route. So, as far as definitive saying this road or that road, no. I know there are a lot here in the Up County along Thurston Road, Sugarloaf Mountain Road, etc., that we do have confirmed trees across. We've got crews coming out here to help clear those open. But again, it's so fresh into the storm. It is nighttime, obviously, but we're going to see branches and stuff.
Hey,
so if you're out traveling, be careful.
Yeah, Chief Graham, because this is moving so quickly, do you think that is going to help you in that on the back side of this you'll still have the heat, but you may not have the drama, and that you'll think you'll be able to get out there and sort of see to what the problems are and maybe address them a little more quickly than you would at a storm that is more sustained?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably start to conduct windshield surveys, is what we call them. We'll have units that will be out in the neighborhood. Right now, we're operating under what's called condition red. We're sending as many pieces of apparatus out as we possibly can. Our 911 call center, our dispatching center, is receiving an inordinately high amount of calls at this time. So we'll work through that first. Once we clear the condition red and this large number of calls that we're receiving, then we'll go back and begin our windshield survey. If that's not done tonight, we will do it at first break of day tomorrow when it is safe, and then leave tonight's response to emergency responses.
All right. Assistant Chief Scott Graham with Montgomery County Fire and Rescue. We appreciate you taking the time. Be safe out there.
No worries. Thank you all.
Okay. Doug, can we assume that for people in Montgomery County and let's say the district and Fairfax, that it's pretty much out of it now?
Yeah, for sure. Pretty much out of it. So now we can start to assess the damage across that area and notice all those trees down. Take a couple of live shots out there right now. We were just showing that live shot out there towards Tyson's Corner a minute ago. And one thing you're going to notice with that live shot is we do not have the rain falling anymore, at least not the heavy rain. And notice the tree sitting right there. That tree is no longer moving, so you do not see the wind anymore, just the light breeze. But here at our station here in Northwest, pretty much the same thing. You see a little bit of wind, you see a little bit of lightning out there, but that flag is on the is just on the side of the pole. So we're not talking about those winds gusting across our area anymore. So if you live in the district, if you live in Fairfax County, Montgomery County, if you live back towards Frederick County, Maryland, or Loudoun County, or down to the south of the Fauquier, you are going to be A-OK. Notice around the Capitol, still some wind there. You can see the rain falling, and of course, as I've been mentioning, tons and tons of lightning. I mean, just look at this lightning that we've got across the area. This lightning simply amazing as it continues to move on through the region. This lightning now making its way through with this line that's coming on through the region. Look at the lightning. I mean, all the way across the area, all of these storms producing tons and tons of lightning, tens of thousands of lightning strokes per hour with this storm system as it continues down to the east. Now, you notice the areas there in yellow. That is where we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. In Fairfax County, you're still in there. The district, you're still in there. Montgomery County, you're still in there. But don't worry. you no longer have the storms to worry about here. It is now over towards Anne Arundel County, Calvert County, St. Mary's County, where you're going to see the problems, and then over towards the eastern shore. Back to the west around Leesburg, still seeing some light rain here. Frederick County, Maryland, still seeing some light rain for you, and around Warrenton and Fauquier County, you're still seeing that light rain, but that's about it. This is the area right now under the gun, and you can see how fast these are moving here just over the last 15 minutes that I've been talking to you. Here it was in Bowie, and now it's all the way past Crofton, making its way over towards Annapolis. Annapolis, watch out for this. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to start to see those winds in your area. And this is all heavily treed area out here. And you know these roads, 97, a lot of trees alongside 97, but all of these roads, 301, down Route 2. You know Route 2, tons of trees here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Route 2, see a lot of trees down there. And then over towards Brandywine, you just saw the winds come through you. The heaviest rain came through you, and now it's making its way over towards Sunderland. Right along Route 4, around Huntingtown, around Prince Frederick, you are all seeing those very strong winds and that very, very heavy rain. And once again, we'll continue to see that as we make our way through the next couple of hours. But it is moving so fast that in about the next half hour to 45 minutes, we will be done with this storm. Then we can turn our attention to those without power and the heat. The heat tomorrow will once again be around 100 degrees. We're forecasting a near record once again during the day tomorrow. Today we hit 104, which is an all-time record high temperature for the month of June. Tomorrow we could be close to that, but I do think we will be just a couple of degrees cooler. It will not feel cooler. Will this rain help to cool us down? No. Will it make us feel a little bit more muggy? Will it bring more humidity? Yes, especially early in the morning. Our dew points have gone up now because we've seen that rain. So if you walk outside, you can really feel that muggy air that continues to just sit there.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
You're talking about all those lightning strikes. Can I assume that not all of them are cloud-to-ground strikes, but rather cloud-to-cloud maybe?
Not here, Jim. I mean, right here, these are all, everything we see here, and I'm just going to go back to the beginning. It's going to take me a second to get back there. But all of these lightning strikes are cloud to ground. These are not cloud to cloud. These are all cloud to ground. Yeah, our system will not pick up cloud to cloud lightning. It picks up cloud to ground lightning, and that's exactly what we're seeing out there right now. So you look at all those lightning bolts. You know we're seeing a lot of lightning out there, and they are, hopefully not hitting anybody's houses or anything else that's out there. Good idea just to stay indoors tonight. It really is.
Yeah. Do we get storms like this because, for some reason, these hot temperatures create energy or something like that? How come the storm is so violent?
100%. Absolutely 100%. You talk about that heat, and heat is the fuel for a storm. So you need to have some kind of heat. You need to have some kind of factor coming through the area, and a lot of times it's a cold front. In this sense, it's that mesoscale convective system that we talked about. It's that line of storms that continues to come through the region. And when it hits an area where you've got dew points in the 70s, so you've got a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and you've got a lot of heat in the atmosphere, that heat could just be used as a term for energy. And that's exactly what we had today in the energy. It creates, or in the atmosphere, it creates an extremely explosive atmosphere, and it doesn't take a whole lot to get strong to very severe thunderstorms. That's what we saw today. And that's what we saw all over the Midwest. I mean, Ohio today and Indiana, 850,000 people without power. And you can see right now, is that a live shot in Tyson's Corner, guys? Yeah. It looks like we've lost lights around the Tyson's Corner area right now, so they may be without power in their area too. So we're going to see this scenario play out for the next few hours. Once again, if you're in Southern Maryland, you want to make sure you have flashlights. You want to make sure you're ready for your power to go out. We've been saying this all night long. I mean, that's why we were running the crawl underneath the Olympics.
Doug, we're just hearing that 439,000 customers, 439,000 customers in Northern Virginia alone are without power on a hot night, which means no air conditioning. We are going to take Jackie Benson is on the phone. She's in Landover, Maryland. Jackie, what are the conditions outside of you, around you right now?
Well, hello, my friend. The conditions around us are pretty bad, and they were worse about 25 minutes ago. This was unbelievable. What happened was we're sitting outside Prince George's County Police Headquarters. The winds come up. Trees are going sideways. Dust and bits of paper and everything is moving like I have never seen, and I have been through and covered a couple of hurricanes down in Florida. All of a sudden, every light you could see anywhere, including the lights in the police headquarters building, just went out. Every traffic light, every street light, every light in every house, everything just boom, they were gone. Now, as a result of the storms that are coming through here, we have a report of a collapse of a gas station roof on Annapolis Road in Bladensburg. You can understand that public safety, fire department is extremely busy right now. There's one report of a house on fire, possibly struck by lightning. There are metro stations. We understand the Southern Avenue Metro Station is without power, or was as of about 15 minutes ago. The sky is covered, just lightning flash after lightning flash. It's green at times, and it is very, very alarming. I can also tell you, there are trees down everywhere. My friends back in the studio, everyone is going to need to be very, very careful when you go home tonight and be prepared for a long trip. I'm reporting live in Landover. Back to you, and I'll get you more information when we get it.
All right, thank you, Jax.
We appreciate that, Jackie, and we want to thank all of you who are still watching, who still have power, and say God bless you that you still do, and hopefully you'll have it for a while. This one was a really rough one tonight, and we were standing outside ourselves, Wendy, before we went on the air a couple of minutes ago. You and I both noted, have never seen wind
I have
coming
never seen
through
it, and
that quickly, that loud.
And I said, I've been in a million hurricanes,
Yes,
and
you
I
have.
haven't seen wind like that. And the sound of it sounded like a train. You hear people saying that. I was actually, because Doug came running through the newsroom and said,
To get us
follow
off,
me.
right.
And we all went running out to the loading dock. He opened the door, and the gust of wind that hit us, I almost thought we were about to be in a tornado. Doug, I mean, that was amazing. And you called that, what kind of winds? What did you say when we
Well,
were?
these are straight line winds.
Straight line winds.
Straight line winds. Just the other day, we saw that incredible storm, that Bladensburg storm, that had 80 to 100 mile an hour winds. We have gotten confirmed reports now from Fairfax County and Prince George's County of 75 to 80 mile an hour winds. That's hurricane force. So if you've been in a hurricane, Wendy, you said you have. I know I've covered many hurricanes. I mean, this is hurricane force winds that are right now coming through our area. And again, Calvert County, St. Mary's County, and Anne Arundel County, you folks are the ones that are right now under the gun from this storm. So once again, if you live in this area, and right now most of this storm, and we'll go ahead and zoom in here because I want to show you this. I might have to step away from the radar just a second, but notice Annapolis right here. You're probably seeing the strongest winds right now. Down towards Selby on the Bay, you're probably seeing those strongest winds now, but they've probably already moved through Calvert County and are now moving in toward the Chesapeake. St. Mary's County, however, most of you, especially southern St. Mary's, you have not seen the strongest winds yet, and you will lose power. So once again, just know that. Here we have Pepco on the phone right now, and I'll send it back inside to you guys.
Thanks, Doug. We appreciate that. Myra Opal is on the phone right now with us from Pepco. Miss Opal, are you there?
I am.
Can you tell us what the situation is as regards power?
We have about 326,000 customers right now. It's about 51,000 out in the district, 175,000 out in Montgomery County, and about 100,000 out in Prince George's County.
And about, you said 100 in Prince George's County?
100,000 in Prince George's County.
What is going to be your challenge for tonight then?
It's assessment at this point. What we had crews out working on heat-related damage, heat-related outages. Those crews of course, were sheltering during the storm, and then what we'll first turn to is assessing the damage to see what we're looking at out there.
So at this point, you couldn't even begin to guess in terms of telling people how long they'll be without power, could you?
I think it would be safe to say this will be multi-day, but we could not begin to guess at a restoration.
Multi-days.
Multi-day.
That is a rough one with 100-degree temperatures coming. Miss Opal, thank you very much. We appreciate that information. As related to us, we're looking now at somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 people, if my addition is correct. 500,000, I'm sorry,
'Cause you have
326,000 Pepco people, 439,000 in Northern Virginia, more than 500,000 people.
Right, and we also
like
have,
that.
as Jackie was reporting, you know, Doug was talking about all the lightning strikes. They have one house on fire, possibly lightning, that she was reporting over in Prince George's County. The roof of a gas station has collapsed on Annapolis Road in Bladensburg. The metro station is having some issues, the southern metro station. So it's tough out there, and of course it's going to be tough for everyone who just had their power go out, because it is still going to climb up to 100 degrees tomorrow. And as we just heard Myra Opal from Pepco say, it could take a couple of days to get this restored, because these winds were so dramatic and so traumatic in a way in terms of what it did to our infrastructure, right, Doug?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I mean, and they're still coming through. I continue to see these winds these wind reports that continue to see 70 to 80 mile an hour winds coming through the area. The largest I've seen was 82 miles an hour in our immediate area. That was out towards Reston, 76 miles an hour in Seat Pleasant in Prince George's County. And once again, they do continue down towards the south. So if you live in southern Maryland right now, you're still under the gun. Some very heavy rain. Anne Arundel County, you've seen the strongest winds already move through your area. Calvert County, Prince George's County, you've seen those winds move through your area. Right now, for you folks, it is the heaviest rain. You can see that right along I-97, and then down towards Calvert County, all the way down Route 2. Calvert Beach, you are next, and down towards extreme southern Calvert County, including down towards St. Mary's County, the Patuxent Naval Air Station. Watch out down here, Leonardtown. You are seeing that. We'll zoom in a little bit more here and show you where this is. Valley Lee, Chesapeake Ranch Estates. This is the area that's going to see those 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. And you folks down there, if you're watching us, you probably still have power as of right now. You may not have it in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So once again, biggest thing I think you can do is get some flashlights. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you have a plan for your power to go out, because it most likely will go out into this area. As we widen out here, you can see where these are again, making their way through over the last few hours. This, by the way, is only a 3-hour loop, okay? A 3-hour loop. And you know how long it takes to drive across some, say, I-81, if you take 66 and you go all the way over to Route 50. You're talking about what is that, maybe 100, 150 miles. You know how long that takes. It's a long way, and these storms raced across here in a matter of about 3 hours. So you can see the force that these storms moved through. They were moving at 60 miles an hour at times as they made their way through the area. We're going to continue to watch as they now move into the Atlantic and then across into the eastern shore. I know there are a few of you out towards the eastern shore that do watch us on satellite. Some cable systems picking us up out there. If you live in the eastern shore, these winds could be even stronger for you, especially if you live right along the bay here, and that's because the bay does not have nearly as much surface friction. And what I mean by that, it's not going to slow those winds down like trees would, so that water is just going to allow those winds to pick right back up, and we could see some big-time damage right here, maybe over towards the, across the bridge, you know, Hemingway's right down there along Kent Island could see some of that damage. So once again, we'll continue to watch these as they move on through the region, but the biggest area, I think southern St. Mary's County is where you have the biggest threat for damage over the next 15 to 20 minutes.
Doug, you said the storm already moved through Bowie, right?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I mean, they're seeing some rain right now, but the strongest winds are out of them.
Well, we asked that for a reason.
Because Derek Ward, News 4's Derek Ward, is on the phone with us now. Derek, are you seeing any relief? What's the status there?
Well, the winds have definitely died down. I mean, when the incident first started, there was some lightning, then winds, but no rain. It was kind of eerie. I mean, strong winds, lots of leaves blowing, lots of branches blowing around, and then came the rain. But the wind was obviously the biggest part of this, and it was obviously on the leading edge of this. We lost power, I'd say, less than 2 or 3 minutes into the wind event. And now it's just a matter of rain, but we are without power. And I did hear from somebody who was on the Beltway at about that time, said that there were some trees down in this area here near 214 and the Beltway in that general area. So obviously, you know, once the light of day shines on us again, I guess we'll be able to assess completely the damage. But high winds first, then the rain, then the lightning, and then darkness.
Hey, Derek, when it was hitting you, and I'm assuming you guys are either in one of our live trucks or you were in a car, what was that like?
Well, actually, I was at home. I was going to run out to my car. I remembered I had my rain gear in the car, but I decided against it just because there are lots of trees in my parking lot, and you know, it's just probably not wise to run out under trees and with that high wind event. I'll probably make the trek out there again relatively soon, just so I'll have it. So you know, when I come in the morning, in case it's still raining out. You know.
Sure, and hopefully your windows are rolled up.
Well, no, I had to open them because, the windows in the car, definitely.
Yeah,
yes, they are. Yeah.
A reporter is never off duty. Thank you, Derek. We appreciate that.
Derek Ward in Bowie.
We are pleased to note that as of this point, we have had no reports of anybody being injured. Certainly it is early in terms of reporting all that's going on out there. but there are an awful lot of people without power.
Yes, it is. Let's look at the roll call right now. We have, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see all the way across the room, but we have 439,000 in Northern Virginia, and we have 326,000 out under Pepco's jurisdiction. That's 51,000 in D.C., 175,000. These are customers in Montgomery County, and 100,000 in Prince George's County. So it's more than 1 million total we're hearing now, and of course that number's only getting higher.
And all of this, of course, because of a storm that came through here very, very quickly. We did have warning, though, Doug. You've been tracking this thing all day long, right?
Yeah, really, Jim. I mean, we talked about this at 4 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, and again at 6 o'clock. And, you know, Kim Martucci and I was in here. Kim Martucci was helping me this afternoon, and we were just talking about the sheer potential that this storm had. Because anytime you see a storm like this developing, around the Chicagoland area, down through Indiana, and then Ohio, and you see it moving into an area that has just had record heat. And again, we didn't just set a record for the day. We set an all-time monthly record today with 104 degrees. But our dew points were still at 70. That is extremely moist air that's sitting there ready, just ready for something to come in and send it up into the atmosphere and get these storms going. And that's exactly what we've seen out there today. I want to show you right now where the strongest winds are going to be. Southern St. Mary's County. I just got a report out of Central St. Mary's County, or Central Calvert County, of some extreme wind there. Waldorf, 71-mile-an-hour wind just 15 minutes ago. Waldorf, we talked about you seeing the strongest winds, 71 miles an hour towards Waldorf. You can expect the same now. Chesapeake Ranch Estates, Valley Lee, Patuxent Air Station, Naval Air Station. If you live in southern St. Mary's County and you're along the bay here, or even in the northern neck, get ready for these 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. They are going to continue to move on through here. I'm going to go back and show you guys the entire line here. And again, I'm going back in my slideshow here. You can see this line sweeping on through the area. Baltimore, by the way, just reported a 66 mile an hour wind gust. You also see the little spin here. There's a little spin here, and that little spin helped to push that whole thing right on through our region. That's why we saw, another reason why we saw those 70, 80 mile an hour winds. You talked about Bowie. Here's where Derek Ward is, right here over towards Bowie. The heaviest rain is now well past Bowie. Still a little bit of rain there, but the wind has now died down. Annapolis, you're probably seeing the rain, but you're no longer seeing the strong winds. So once again, I want to show you that entire line, and watch this thunderstorm. Watch all this lightning bolts here. The most lightning now up there towards Baltimore, but still right along the Chesapeake Bay, now making its way over towards the Delmarva and the eastern shore.
Doug, stand by. There's a question I want to ask you in a minute, but first we want to go to Shamari Stone. We understand he's in Northwest D.C. right now, but headed up towards Bethesda, and he's coming to us via Skype. What are you seeing out there, Shamari?
Well, right now, I see a lot of people who are just trying to figure out what is going on. This storm just came basically out of nowhere for a lot of folks. Everything was calmed, and all of a sudden, there was a lot of wind, gusts, at least 70 miles per hour. There was a lot of folks who were just running for cover, basically. Now, we were trying to drive through Rock Creek Park, and the area had a lot of downed trees that were blocking the roads through Rock Creek Park. So if you plan on doing that, I suggest you stay away. Also, we then tried to circle back by the monument on Independence Avenue.
I think
Okay.
we've lost him.
Yeah, Shamari was on Skype, but apparently we have lost his signal. And he's speaking about trees being down in Rock Creek Park, which is no surprise. We would assume that there are trees down all over the place. Shamari, are you back now?
Yeah, I'm back right now.
Go ahead, continue.
Keep in mind, hey, modern technology, dealing with Skype, but just trying to bring our viewers the latest information. There were a lot of downed trees, as you just mentioned, Jim, throughout Rock Creek Park. Right now, we're making a left here from Harvard Street onto 16th. And my photographer here, Joe Cassandra, what was it like driving through that, Joe?
It was a complete mess. It just, rain was sideways, branches flying, tents flying, just came out of nowhere. It was a total mess.
And basically right now, we're hearing that there's a lot of damage in the Bethesda area. That's where we're driving in a safe way to Bethesda. Also, if you plan on going through Independence Avenue, stay away. There are porta-johns that are blocking the entire roadway. So if you planned on going there, make sure you avoid that area. Jim?
All right, Shamari, thank you very much, and thanks for the advice. Certainly nobody wants to run into a porta-john.
In the middle of Independence, maybe from the Folklife Festival? I don't know.
Not a good idea. Doug, can I get back to you for a second, because we saw the, line of the storm line coming through. We saw all the lightning and all of that. Earlier today, you were talking about that hook echo thing with the storm, you know, that kind of bows like
The
that.
bow echo, yeah.
Bow echo. What I have not heard you say all evening long is any word about tornadoes, and I'm curious to know how come this a storm like this doesn't create a tornado.
Very good observation, Jim. And that's the reason why anytime you have these bow echoes, a lot of times these bow echoes, they only push the air out in front of them. There's really not that swirling of the wind. Now, that being said, we did have a couple of tornadoes reported with this storm back into portions of Ohio, and even some tornado warnings in through northern West Virginia and parts of Maryland, or parts of Maryland right here. And you notice there is a little spin. That's the spin I was just talking about that right now is around Baltimore. But the line itself, that's what we saw. That line itself is just pushing off to the east. You do not see that turning, that turning motion within these storms. They are just moving off to the east, and those storms allow the wind from aloft, and that's what's happening. These winds are, 5,000 feet up, and they're moving at 70, 80 miles an hour. Those storms move into that wind and allow that wind to just come right down to the surface, and that's why we have such strong winds with these storms.
Another thing I was going to ask you, often when storms come from west to east, they break up or at least dissipate to some extent, coming over the mountains of the Alleghenies.
Yes.
This one apparently did not. How come?
But it did. And this is what we predicted too, and we were talking about this. The line actually did start to break up a little bit. If we go back far enough here, you'd actually see the red line coming in, hit the Allegheny Mountains, and then just kind of disperse just a little bit. But we knew as soon as it hit that energy, that hot air that's sitting right along the Blue Ridge, that's when it literally... Union